Dale de nuevo dale al Tiny City, dale paste arriba. Dale aquí la barrita y le das paste. La barrita que dentro. Esto sí, bórrate eso y dale paste al que había hecho copy.
Okay, yeah. No, it's not.
Oh,
What happened? Oh, last year was.
no, venga a ver si trabaja.
There.
Okay. Yeah, on my class.
It's working?
Yeah.
See anything?
And then but it's very
It's 9:36. It's really cool just to hear.
Say, open your
Yesterday, just yesterday.
And so they think that
Oh, okay. I hear like this.
Voy a darle
So,
reset
why
a
classificar? There's, I mean, they have the same beginning.
We record it and then we upload it to the aunque sea después tarde, ¿no?
Oh, pudiera ser. Está recording right now.
Ah, bueno, dejémoslo así.
¿Lo está grabando?
Sí, lo está grabando y después se le dice que lo ponga en el canal.
¿En qué canal está? Para contactar.
Lo único que se puede dar, ya tu computadora trabaja. A ver si lo podemos tratar de hacer, pues. Esto se puede dejar así.
Y estas como picar, ¿no? Todas salían con picar, picar.
Son verbos.
So I mean, I guess this applies to all of them.
Yes.
They have the same.
Great. Do you want to put some, the meaning?
Say meaning?
Yeah. That's why it's easier to learn. Just before doing categorías, so of course, you know. Idea principal, hay detalles.
3 more minutes, about 3 more minutes. No, the root is the same. Sorry, I just.
Oh, yeah.
To know more about you, I need to
Okay, so we have 4 anchor charts up, completely different words, completely different materials of coffee. We have 2 here and 2 back here. So we're gonna stand up, stretch our legs, go through with your group, read what was added, have a discussion. Do you agree with some information? Do you disagree?
I do know something, but I don't know.
He's gonna go in the
All right, we'll go ahead and, yeah, we'll just move around.
Sí, exacto. Visible, increíble, acento. Visible,
Scary, right?
It's just the do, ahí tenemos la Z. Pero tener el mismo ending.
That's a good.
Same ending. Same ending. Well, it's okay. Same rhythm. Yeah. So I'm going to come on over to Mockingbird. I guess we're gonna have to, well, I don't know where we're even fit, 'cause we don't fit. Well, they're supposed to, so they're gonna tear down your school. No, add to it? No. They already added to it. They've already added to our school too. They want to tear down most of it. They're gonna make you pay them 800. Did you know our school is like the second worst?
So I structured the whole thing down on 5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
Yeah, give you
On 5, 5, yeah. So, so the ending is I was,
And
Laili. Ajá, and ellos vieron. Another reason is Austin, she got it like this.
All right. Is there anything anybody wants to share? Please know we are in a safe, professional place. Is there anything that you guys, setting, I should say, is there anything that you saw that maybe you agreed with, that you disagreed with? I see some looks like I kind of want to say something, but I am terrified. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I do agree, in minutes is that the ending, they end the same, and, the spelling is very similar. And most of them, they have the spelling similar, or they have, same suffixes, and this one over here also. So it's pretty good, I agree with them all.
Yeah, something that I kind of kept hearing over here on this one. Same ending sounds by language. I think it just needed to be a little bit more specific because it's like product, producto. So that's not really the same ending sounds. Can this group clarify for us? I feel like I kind of knew what you meant, but it was written.
It's pretty much. We phrase it wrong, so we just put it by language. So in the English, they all end the same, in Spanish, not.
So
Okay.
now we get
That
it.
makes sense.
See, I was thinking something completely different, so I'm glad they clarified that. So direct, correct, conflict, effect.
Oh, the CT.
Now I get it, the CT. Directo, correcto, by language. Now I get it. And then over here, we were a little confused too. Similar spelling from English to Spanish.
Same page, like, well, no, sorry, that the only difference is
The only difference is the O. That's what we thought. Okay. So it's really important. I'm glad that this came up because as adults, we know what we mean in our minds, right? Like we know what we're trying to say, but if we're posting this type of information around our room for our students, we have to make sure that we are very specific, right? We have to make sure that we break it down. Even I taught third and the fourth grade, even in the third, fourth, fifth grade levels, we have to make sure we're very specific. Okay, everybody did a great job. Yes, ma'am.
About your grade, and this is my first time being here. And,
Welcome.
my colleague over here has been like 2 years not being here, and this is my first time. And she did an awesome presentation called The Bridge.
I know, I was having that discussion with her and I was ready to have her present.
I
She didn't want to.
congratulate you in front of everybody. She did awesome. I think you got it from here in Miami. And this is the bridge is a component that we added to the government's environment because like I never seen this before.
So the bridge is the connections
Uh-huh.
that we make between the English and the Spanish. The dual language components.
Right.
Are the bridge, are the connections, and we'll be talking about that later on.
Because when I took my training, 3-day training for the government's environment in like a while ago, they never said anything like to compare to put the two like English and Spanish together.
Right. Yes,
That's
thank you.
my question.
Yes, and we have, go ahead.
Just to clarify, this is as, with our district, we are always doing research and we're always evolving because we need to look at the clients that we serve. And one of the things that we have found is that because we're not specifically telling teachers to utilize the bridging components that are already in the program, we have to make it more evident to you as we're training you that you have to use these components that allow for the opportunity to bridge. Because what is happening is that, and I've heard it many times, I don't teach English in kinder and first grade. I don't teach any English because all my language arts is in Spanish. And I basically reply back to them, how do you do those word problems?
Right.
You need to start developing, you have to start developing that oracy. And you need to start developing those sentences, and you have to make the language very evident. Because otherwise, then we get to second grade where they are required to be 50-50, and then we get into the pobrecito syndrome.
Yes.
Pobrecito, no saben bastante, mejor que no se todo en español. Right. Is that not what we hear?
While at
And
the
then-
same time, with that being said, at the same time, we look at the Optum students and we're like, oh my God, it's amazing. Saben dos lenguajes. Que let's
They get down to 10!
And
And then we
meanwhile,
get to
our
third grade.
students, pobrecitos.
Right, then we get to third grade and it becomes a testing. And now it's like I have to teach all in Spanish because it's a test. It's all about a test. Then they get to sixth grade. We have been deemed as a district for having too many long-term L's that have been in our district from the beginning of pre-K. And according to research, it takes 5 to 7 years for a child to become bilingual and biliterate when we are very evident on how we're teaching it.
Yes.
And so if we are doing that, if this child started in pre-K, kinder, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, by research, what should we be able to see? We don't see enough. Then we wouldn't be deemed with so many long-term L's. So yes, this is not part of the original Gomez and Gomez, but we adapt the Gomez and Gomez to meet the needs of our kids, because the Gomez and Gomez research was done in an area where it's basically all Spanish. So the child left the school and would be in a Spanish world. Our children don't have that opportunity.
And I think it's amazing. It is working pretty well. Like we needed that like years ago.
But years ago, it was not in the research.
But let me tell you one
Yes.
thing. I was right on one time because I had those two together.
Oh, you're the
Like-
English. Don't
like
put the
maybe-
English with the Spanish. I know
Maybe
exactly where
10
you're
years
going.
ago.
Yeah.
They rang me up for telling that.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. The research has
You
evolved.
just-
The research has evolved, and just like your training, she also should have given you a sign that I may have brought you later. She may not have gotten it to you yet. Where there will be a place where we can do the bridging. I don't want to step all over this training,
No.
but we want to make sure that we are looking at how do we make it more evident, so that we are making sure that by the time they do get to second grade, that pobrecito syndrome can go away.
So going back to our vision and mission, everything we do is research based. So just because we have the Gomez and Gomez model now does not mean that we are not looking to tweak some things. Okay, which you will probably start hearing about maybe this summer. And this is one of them, is making sure we're bringing those two languages together.
And we'll cover. We won't be right off.
No, we don't really, that was years ago before I even came to, just know we're here for support. Anytime you see us, I know it's hard, especially if you were written up in the past, just know that we are here for support. Okay, so I apologize that happened to you. It would have been something that
It wasn't me.
yes, ma'am.
Is, DSD monitoring Philpops as far as the growth that the kids are making?
Not just us, but TEA.
Okay.
Because we have students like we have 3 years in a row, beginner, like how is Lord Jesus? Yes.
And also the TOPAS has changed on the way that it's being
Administered.
And so I know that I did a training here at Stevens Park that really talked to the upper grades about how do we prepare them to talk. Because these poor little nenes get on that microphone and all of a sudden they could talk all day long and then there's a microphone. He'll figure.
I
So we
went
wanna
there
make sure
last time. Yep.
Yeah, so we want to make sure that we're evolving in that way, allowing them to be able to utilize the language.
Yes, ma'am?
I need help on one thing. You know how we go, how they tell pass and then there are no ones who pay up? We need material from Supera. Because I've tried, like in my campus, I said, well, here's that I know it's the same thing. No, it's not. The language and the way things are done in
Right.
Supera. So you got my kids and they're doing all right, and the examples I give from Terranova went to English, but then Supera, if I get a sample, they're like, what? You know,
Right.
we need to, if I'm going to be graded or evaluated on
Right.
Supera, I think we should get the material just.
Unfortunately, because we don't, anything that has to do with STAR testing, we only provide supplemental materials. Anything that has to do with testing, that is the responsibility of the campus.
Well, no, my campus is the ISD doesn't give any, I don't know anybody with any campus.
There isn't a lot,
There are some
honestly, there's
campuses.
not a lot of resources out there for Supera.
Supera, like, I
Very
don't
quick,
have
there
a-
is a website, when you go to Dallas ISD
Uh-huh.
website, you go to the search and you put Supera Terranova. There's gonna be a web page that's gonna pull out, and the campus can order test prep materials if they want to. Now, we cannot, because we're using Title III grant money,
Yeah.
we cannot be really buying any kind of those materials. But there is, I think, a test prep practice test that you can download and use it. Now, you want more, then
Yes.
the campus have to use local funds to go ahead and buy that.
See, the thing is, I've tried, because I was given a grant and I couldn't use it for Supera, so I used it for something else.
Right.
But, what I was trying to get is, just like, Terranova gets a little workbook, now we're gonna start using it and all this stuff.
Right.
And so my Supera kids that I'm helping them with their vocabulary, and they're getting better, they have zero opportunities.
And by the way, the new curriculum, for the people that I know that works probably with curriculum, I know that word study, whatever the part of word study is powerful. Like if you go and you
Yes.
click there, it tells you everything that you have to do per
Where
day.
was this?
It's in the same curriculum. So what grade are you?
Second.
Second grade. So it's I think it's called the word study sequence, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
yeah. Where can I find it?
It's in the same curriculum. Just go towards the word study.
Oh, Parsons.
There's gonna be a link.
Okay, so if I go on the DISD website and I put Supera,
Supera Terranova, there's gonna be a couple of links. Just go ahead and look for the one that say ordering materials,
okay.
and there is an entire page. I can probably pull it up. Oh, you know what?
Would you please, because when I get on there, they give me a course.
Just give me your email.
They tell me as a teacher,
Just give me your
you know,
email.
we all need that.
In a little bit, we'll see if we can pull it up.
I will put it in the two-way folder, so everybody have
Because
access.
I mean, I've been trained by, a whole bunch of stuff that I get now from Supera, material. I know in my
Okay.
heart, but there's nothing for my kids.
Sounds
Yeah.
Let me see.
And that's what we're talking
No
about.
sé la tuya, que
Focus
puedo.
syndrome, we
No
don't
molestes,
have
no.
Yes. All right, so I have a fun fact that's based on research. 30 to 40% of all words in English have a related word in Spanish. So for our Spanish-speaking English language learners, you can see how cognates, like the activity we say, is an obvious bridge to the English language. Not only that, but if you look at other languages, if you look like at some of your products and you see like in French, like on the hand soaps, your brain is able to decipher what it says, right? Because you learned those skills along the way. We want our students to be able to do that as well. But again, it takes us giving them the tools for them to be able to do that. Okay. So here are some resources. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this website, first of all. Probably not that one. But this one is SpanishCognates.org. And again, this presentation will be shared with you guys. So you can do search cognates by subject. We have some rules, or it's just an A through Z list. So if I do it by subject, I go here, I'm gonna go to science, hit apply. So any lessons that you have, you can go ahead and it has all of them on here. These are for A. very helpful, because I know I myself sometimes, I was in ELL, sometimes I'm like, is that a true cognate? Because we have the false cognates, right? We have all this. A great website, a great resource. And then I found this one, it's through New York University. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So right here it tells you the rules, de las reglas. From English to Spanish, words ending in English, in AL, son idénticas a su equivalente en español. Words ending in ants in English, en español terminan en ante. I know, I saw this and I'm like, where has this been? And then if you scroll down, it's 30 pages long, otherwise I would have printed it for you guys. It gives you examples for each one of them. It's pretty awesome. Look at all of those cognates. And don't we always like say vocabulary is one of the main, not even vocabulary, first of all, comprehension. My students don't comprehend. Well, doesn't that kind of go back to the vocabulary, right? That's one of the major areas. Cognates have such value that I think that sometimes we miss out on the opportunity to provide that for our students. So the more you do it, the more success that you're going to see. We are going to have our community circle time. So if you're joining us for the first time, what we're going to do is we're going to get together in a circle. So we can take about 10 minutes, and we're going to mute.
Yes.
Because we're recording. Because we want to make sure this is a You're gonna find some observation forms. We're gonna be forming into 3 groups and spending about 10 minutes in each classroom, observing instruction and specifically the sheltered instruction pieces from last time. Was everybody here last time?
Now, can you please explain shelter instruction? Because I wasn't here.
How about I send you the presentation?
Would you?
It's a big
Great.
dog.
I'm here as a last minute thing, so it's a good one too on Region 10. Instruction.
And you probably do it every day,
You
you
do
just
it
don't
every
call
day,
it that.
But it's like a breakdown. Let me see now.
The Tiny CC, you have access to, she has access to all the PowerPoints, so she can probably go there.
Let me make a quick clarification. Miss Castro's room is a two-way class. So Ms. Torres and Ms. Castro are two-way teachers. Ms. Cervantes is a one-way teacher. So just make a note of that. I didn't check it before we printed it, so that was my fault. But those 2 teachers, Ms. Castro and Ms. Torres are two-way classes.
Okay.
All right.
So I've never heard the term. Yeah, thank you.
There's 8
I mean,
people.
because I've done that, I mean, when I first came back, I just go set up my
Celia, for the people that were asking for Terranova and Supera, the link is not that difficult, so I wrote it here. But also I added to the two-way folder where you have all the presentations, so you have it in both places. So here it shows you how to order the materials, and also you can download one of the practice tests.
Isn't he awesome?
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Oh, I trust. So that's the one, and also you have it in your folder.
This folder right here?
No, it's a folder where we put everything. Let's go ahead and put the Tiny CC over here too.
That one?
We have about 10 more minutes before we head out.
Yeah. I'm here for.
Oh, I've never been. He's gonna add some work if you wanna wait, take a picture.
Okay.
He's gonna put the Tiny CC on there too.
Oh, thank you. We'll take him to.
Oh. He's helping everybody. And he's just kicking her to the curb? Is that what you're saying?
No. She was going to get us somebody, you know, all kinds of
Blue eyes, that's what they were looking for.
Also make a note that the transitions say 5 minutes. These rooms are like 30 seconds apart from each other. So if you need to see some more things, you're welcome to stay. As long as we get done by 2:50, we're good. And the reason we had to do it in the middle was because they have their specials all during this time. So the last kids are coming back at 2:10. So when you go to Ms. Castro's, my group 3, the kids may be walking in with the sub. But she's gonna have notebooks and stuff that you can look at, and she's gonna identify the one-way kids, the ELs and the opt-ins, so you can actually see how she's been kind of providing that support for them to write accountable to the language of instruction.
So the two-way PLC, this is the folder that you have everything there for every month. So and also I put the one for that the link over here, I put it there too. So you can have access to it.
Thank you.
No problem.
So you do know that we can, order the books, the consumables for the kids?
There's a form that the campus will have to fill out, and the administrator have to approve it and send it. So all those forms and everything is there, plus the practice test also is there.
All that you're talking about is in these links.
the Bitly two-way PLC, that one is the one that we have all the presentation that we have from the beginning of the year. So even the one for shelter instruction that you were mentioning.
The reason I'm asking is because I want to get it straight in my head since I hadn't been to any of these before, and I'm actually here for all of the dual language classes.
Perfect. So this one,
And see, I didn't know that there were no resources for Supernova and Eterno until I came here and found out. 'Cause
well, in
pre-K.
reality, we shouldn't even be passing that information because our department doesn't really have to support that testing
Right.
prep material. I'm just giving it because I'm trying to be nice. So
Thank
yeah. But in
He is
reality,
very
we
nice.
don't really can buy anything that is test prep. Even K2 department and 3.5, they will
Right.
suggest you that we shouldn't be using test prep material. But anyway, it's there, it's available in the Dallas ISD website. It's not like it's top
And those
secret
are the
information.
That's where we find.
The first one is the site, and the another one is the one with all the PowerPoints that we have been doing from the beginning of the year.
Okay, thank
Okay?
you. We have to have another.
I have one more question.
Sure.
I'm in charge of the social studies. On top of everything else. But when it comes time at our school, a lot of schools don't even do this. I have to create the interim test in English and Spanish. And Pearson supplies our books, and I've accessed the test program, but you can't reproduce it, you can't print it.
Depending how much probably you bought from them. Like I was trying to call them to do some support from other stuff, and I said, well, you don't have that, so you didn't buy that. So
That's what it is.
So
Okay.
there's stuff that they can support you based on whatever they bought. And there's a lot of software items like that we don't, we can't buy any licenses to really support that. So
Wow.
Is there
How many books? Why is it
separate? You guys go right to the. I'll be going around.
probably the same school can probably try to buy it. If it's something that you use it, I will bring it up to the administration to see if they can buy local costs.
We can count them up. Okay, so we want to make sure everybody, as you're walking around, yes, I like to go with my best bud. And we're gonna count off 1, 2, 3, so we can kind of mix it up just a little bit, okay? We're gonna have group 1, which will be with Edie's. So if I count you off and you're a 1, you'll be going with Edie's. If I count you off as a 2, you'll go with Hipólito, and if you're count off as a 3, you'll go with me. And again, please be mindful that Ms. Castro's room is a two-way classroom with opt-ins as well as ES. So you ready to count? Yes? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. All right? All right, so let's go ahead.
Go with that.
This is
Number 1. Because you look like a college student.
Actually, up here. We're gonna have everybody that's a 3.
Ready?
Ready?
Yes.
I'll lead the way so I can take you down the hall.
We're going to 161 one way.
120.